So I want to go over what I would do for a free SEO audit. So the first thing that I do is that I look at the homepage and I want to see if there's any other variation. So I see there's an index.htm, but if I hit enter, you can tell that this page also exists without it. The problem with this is that if you go into the source code and you search for canonical, nothing comes up. The canonical tag is a tag that tells Google and Bing that this is the preferred version of a web page. The problem that I can see right now is that this site already has duplicate content, and duplicate content effectively is a couple things. One, you compete against yourself, so authority gets split basically in half. Half goes to one page, half goes to another. And then also from a Google standpoint, there's something called Google Panda, and they penalize sites for thin and duplicate content. So don't want to be penalized by Google by no means of your own, so have a canonical tag at the very minimum. The next thing that I look at is the robots text file. This is the first area that Google and Bing will look at when they come and visit your website. And it's good that you have some disallows in here, but the thing that I noticed is that you're missing your sitemap. The reason why I know that that's the case is because you have a sitemap on your site. Sitemap is, I think of it as kind of like a table of contents. You know, when you read a book, you can get an idea of all the chapters that are essentially on a web page, and that's good, but you can really optimize this even more than what you have. And what I mean by that is that the sitemap basically treats every page the same. And for your business, that's not going to be the case. There's going to be pages that are going to be far more important, like your main service pages compared to a contact or even about us page. So you really want to prioritize that within the sitemap, give Google and Bing the guidance that they need to go to the right pages more often than, let's say, least important pages. And to go back, though, to your site, I'm going to actually now crawl the site within a tool that I own. It's called Screaming Frog. It's pretty cheap, actually. It's about $150 a year, but it's well worth it. And I already finished now crawling your site. And the main things I'm going to look at are just the HTML for right now for this example. These are your main pages on the site. Now, if I quickly sort the columns by status code, I can tell that 2 pages are 404. That's actually not that bad if you consider it. Usually when I crawl more sites for more audits, there's far more errors. So you're good with that standpoint. But the main thing that I noticed is that if you go to site structure, I don't know if you can see, but on the bottom right, almost everything is a level 1. And the problem with that is you effectively split your authority out to all your pages. So I like to tell clients that SEO is almost like a pyramid, and the most important page, which is generally the home page, is at the very top. And then it's supposed to cascade down to maybe your thank you page, or the most non-essential page, except, for your site. And the problem that I can see is that when everything's a level 1, it's confusing from a search engine standpoint. And it's also, you dilute your authority by a margin that's too high. So what I mean by that is that instead of having your authority go from your home page and cascade down evenly, you basically throw it all to all your pages on your site. So your authority to rank for non-brand terms is effectively low because your authority is just too thin. So you really want to make sure your main pages are on level 1. Another problem I can see right here is that when I go back to your site, I go to services, accounting, and bookkeeping. So this is a level 1 page. You can tell that it's 1 level away from the home page. The problem though is that I don't even know what this means. SVCS_ACCT. Maybe that's some sort of internal way you write up the page, but from a search engine standpoint, they're not going to know what this means. And the URL is a ranking factor. It might not be as strong as it was in the past, but you really want to make sure that from a search engine standpoint, Google and Bing will understand what this page is about. Also, even if it's not a strong ranking signal as it used to be back a few years ago, think of this from a user standpoint. If I got a link, if someone emailed me this and said, check this out, svcsacct.htm, I don't even know what that's about. So think of it from a user standpoint, are they going to share this page? Now you might say they might not share because, maybe it's not as share worthy as like a gossip page or anything like that. But you have to think though, from a search engine and a user perspective, if I can't tell before I click on this what this page is about, I'm not going to click on it. I'm not going to share it for sure. There's a lot of things you have to consider. So structurally standpoint, move a lot of things off level 1, and then also think of it from a user standpoint as well as a search engine. Rewrite this page to make sure you really say it is small business accounting. The next thing that I would also mention too is that you have main service pages. I advise my clients that the main service page should be a hub. So this site should be /services/ and then it should be small business accounting. The reason why you want to do that is because you want to have one central service page act as that level 1, because then it will cascade down to the rest of your page right over here. So moving on to this page though, some things that you are doing all right is that this is an H1 tag, which is good. H1 tag is effectively the chapter name of a, I guess of a chapter or of a page. So the H1 is a ranking factor. That's good. Now, I can tell I'm looking at this from a mobile standpoint. This isn't really mobile optimized, which is something to really think about because Google for 2018, they're moving towards a mobile first index. I can see this and I say, I'm not sure if this is going to pass the mustard with it, so you really need to get it on your radar. 2018 is going to be a big year and beyond for mobile, so make sure you're thinking of that. Moving down the page right here. Sometimes when I see this, it says call today with this number. If I'm going to highlight this, go back into the inspect element, this is kind of like a pet peeve of mine. When I'm on a mobile or when I'm on my mobile device scrolling through a website, if I see a phone number and it's not hyperlinked, it's really discouraging because let's say I want to just contact you right then and there. This number is not clickable. This number up here is not clickable. It's really, from a user standpoint, it's that extra step that might discourage you from even trying to get in contact, because you don't want to, put down your phone and pull up a memo sheet or write on a napkin a phone number. It's just too many steps. It's 2018. People don't want to have their time wasted on that. So from a user standpoint, you really want to make sure that that is a hyperlink, not just simply text. Just a couple more things. I don't want to take up, this is really more of just a free look into what I would do for the site. If I go to your contact us page, so you're in Burlington, and I think that's good. You have your email up here and you have a map. That's good, but I would actually take this a step further. You should really add schema markup to this page. Schema markup is kind of like when you use a highlighter in a book, when you want to call it your most important section. So when you're reviewing your notes, your eyes will focus on the highlights first. That's kind of what schema is for Google and Bing. Schema is going to tell them that this is the address, this is the zip code, this is the city, this is even the longitude and latitude numbers that are associated to your exact business location. So mark it up. Schema is going to be a big win if you put it on your site. And if you need to know how to do it, you can type in just schema.org. They have a lot of free helpful guides to show you how to write this. Really simple. And then the next thing I want to say is that the newsletter down here. So this is interesting, right? You can sign up and you can get their name, and you can get a few other really interesting things too, like your email, your telephone. That's great for your own CRM platform or any way you're trying to use this information. But I really think a blog also on this would be really good. I looked on the site. I couldn't really find a blog just real quickly. I see there's the newsletter and there's resources too, but there's no real like central hub. And the central hub's gonna be a big deal because if you go to this site, and this is a free site by the way that you can use. It's called Answer the Public. So I know that you are a Boston CPA accounting, so I'm just going to type in accounting tips, hit get questions. And Answer the Public is a free tool. It's going to take all the questions that people are essentially searching for on the web and give you ideas of content to write. So if I scroll down here, I'm going to get a web of just all topics that I can cover. And not everything's going to be super relevant to your business. So that's why you have to kind of manually look at this and say, make the call. Should I cover this topic? Is this what my audience is looking for? This is a great way to expand your search engine optimization, because you're effectively answering questions, and people are always in a different part of the funnel. So yes, it's great to rank for the term like Boston CPA, but if you also rank for some of these other terms too, like accounting tips for business or accounting tips for college students, etc., these are terms that you can also get people down in the funnel and to get them interested in your services. So anyway, these are just some just basically my mindset as I go through a free audit for anyone's website, and I hope this was helpful, and thank you again for watching.